everybody. Welcome into another episode of Jam with J Money, man. We're back. It's Saturday, but we're still trying to get some cash, man. What's up, Junior? Everything cool with you?
Yeah, man, everything cool. Great night of NBA basketball yesterday. A lot of fun. I hated that Clippers Spurs game because it busted my parlay. Finally ended my streak, but hit some other place. I think you had a pretty good day too, if I'm not mistaken. But I hit the Heat first half full game. I just knew that they were going to come out and smack these guys around, and hit the under in the Lakers um, game that went under 235 and a half. Lakers Wizards. So pretty good day. What about yourself, bro?
Yeah, everything was cool, man. I didn't get a chance. I was trying to bet the game early. I know it was one that went off super early at 11 o'clock my time, and I didn't get a chance to bet it. I'm glad I didn't because I would have took the first half under and probably the full game under, and neither one of those cash. So I'm glad that I couldn't bet those. Let's see. The Raptors had a damn good game versus the Magic over there. I stayed off of that one. I did have the Cavs. I told y'all about that one plus 11, and you called it. You said that the Bucks always come out in the first half, and what they were up by 20 points at halftime there. I was like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? The Cavs, they had a strong third quarter, outscored them 42-32. I can't believe they put up 42 points junior against the Bucks in that third quarter, but sure, I sure needed them to, man. So they outscored them by 11 points in the second half to give me that cover there plus 11. They only end up losing by 9. It went exactly how we called it. The Knicks, once again, junior, they was up 17, 20 points and couldn't get the job done in that one, but they got the job done for me. I did have them at plus 7. I told y'all about the Knicks. I mean, if y'all could have got on a plus 8, plus 7, both of those end up cashing. I think they should have won the game, man. I sprinkled a little bit on the money line there. I was a little pissed that they came back and pissed that one away, Junior, but still got the full game spread with that one. And Trey Young went for 49 points yesterday, bro. They gave Indiana all they could handle there, took them to overtime. We know that Atlanta's on the back to back today, but like I said, Trey Young was carrying his team on his back last night, man. Went for dropped 49 on the boys. That was pretty crazy. And yep, we called it with the Heat there with the first half and the full game, Junior. They bust Golden State up just like we said when they was up by 20 in the first quarter. I believe I said that too. That the Heat come out here be up by 20 in the first quarter, and that's exactly what they did, bro. Outscored them 41-21 in the first quarter. The Jazz came all the way back versus the Grizzlies. End up covering the spread. It's pretty tough if you had the Grizzlies in that one. It looked like they were gonna win the game there at first. They was up by what 15 at the half. So I mean, if you was on the Grizzlies in the first half, that was a damn sharp call by you. They end up pissing away the full game spread. That was pretty tough there. OKC got it done, like I told you in the first half and in the full game. It was a bit of a sweat down the stretch for the full game, but they end up cashing in that first half. They really came out hot in that first half. I told you guys that Pelicans probably gonna be flat in that spot after that huge emotional game. And yeah, I couldn't believe I didn't watch the Clippers and Spurs game, but what did I tell you yesterday, Junior? That's probably gonna be when the right after the Spurs screw me off all this damn money. Then now when I stay off of them, they was probably gonna win. I said that shit, bro, and that's exactly. I looked at it and I'm like, hold on, what? Them boy, they beat. Oh hell nah. Then the Mavericks, they got the job done, and I end up taking the Bulls late too, man. They're getting them plus 7.5. So that was a nice little cashier there, man. They lost the game, but still covered the spread for me. And the Lakers, yeah, they it's looking like they were struggling against the Wizards there at first, and then for you know it, they was up by 14 in the first quarter and never looked back from there. So it was a good day for me overall. What anything to say about somebody had to say, Junior?
Yeah, so yesterday on the show, when I brought up the fact that I had the Clippers against the Spurs, you went off. You were like, yo, I hate the fuck the Spurs. I don't even want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about this game. So that was funny. Was it so funny when I was watching the Spurs go crazy from three? Like the Spurs hit like what is it like maybe 8 threes a game, bro. I think they had 8 threes in the fourth quarter yesterday. It seemed like I
Damn.
don't even know how many they had, but they were going nuts from three yesterday. Paul George couldn't make a shot. Um, I mean, I was going to lose one of these things eventually, but I just feel like
Who would have
and
thought
they
that the
play.
Spurs was gonna beat them though? I mean, come on now.
and they bust them up. Like it
Yeah.
ended by 10, but it was much worse than 10, bro.
Yeah,
It
no,
was much worse than 10.
I was looking at the score on my phone. And I was like, "What the hell, the Spurs on their ass?" But I remember I said that though. The game that I don't bet on, you know what I'm saying? This next game, watch they probably show against a good team, a team that they're not supposed to beat. I mean, or even be competitive in that game. Obviously, they was the dog in this game, and they were laying points, and I bet them. But still, man, I said that. I said, watch the Spurs come out and probably do something this game when I don't bet on them. And that's what pisses me off about teams like that. Like against the teams they supposed to beat, then they come out and lay an egg against, or they just can't, you know what I'm saying, get it done late in the game, and then they come out team versus the Clippers, which we know the Clippers on the road, maybe you know what I'm saying, maybe at some point it was gonna have a little bit of letdown, almost lost to the Grizzlies, but still, man, I just didn't think that the Spurs had it in them. I know a lot of people felt that same way, but like I said, I stayed away from that game, and that's the one they end up cashing, man. But you know what I'm saying, that's all we got about that. I wish we could replay yesterday again, man. Again, Junior, I need another one of them type of days. We only got 4 games on the slate today, Junior. Let's go ahead and get into this first game, man. We got the Nuggets versus Sacramento Kings. Kings coming off a little road trip, obviously, and then we got the Nuggets here that they don't really play the same on the road, Junior. This is a little bit of an early start. I usually like the Kings here early in games, first quarter and first half, but with them coming first game off of the East Coast road trip, I'm not really sure how to look at this one. What you looking at in this game?
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that you said that because I'm not really sure what to think of this game. This morning, I was pretty convinced I was going to take the Nuggets just because I haven't been cashing on Denver really. I still feel like every time I watch them, they don't really convince me, especially on offense. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at their defense, their defense just shuts teams down. So that being said, I think defense travels. Um, Sacramento's going to have a hard time scoring in this game. I think the Nuggets have won like 6 or 7 games in a row now. And it's mainly because they're stopping other teams from scoring. And if they're even a little bit above average on offense, you're going to lose. So I don't know. The problem that I have with laying 4.5 points with Denver on the road is what you just said. They're just not the same team on the road as they are at home, and they already kind of struggle to score at home. So I'm going to start laying points with them on the road, where they only score like 106 points a game. 106 points a game is not good. It's actually really terrible. The thing is, they only let up 102 points a game, right? So I just think for all of the reasons, I guess I gave you a long-winded way of saying that I'm definitely going to stay away from this game because I just have no idea what Denver team I'm going to see. I kind of know what Sacramento team I'm going to see because Sacramento actually, even though their record is nowhere near as good as Denver's is, I feel like I know Sacramento better than I know Denver. I just kind of need to wait and see. Maybe I might get involved in an in-game play, see how that works out.
Right, and sometimes that's the way that you have to go. That's what I was about to say was that the I was looking the same way. The Nuggets. I mean, when you look at, I mean, this is a revenge spot as well. You look at it. The Nuggets already were favored -5 in this same spot. They were on the road. They did end up beating the Sacramento Kings. The Kings came out hot in the first quarter. They were up, I think, what 28-21 at the end of the first quarter, and they was up in the first half as well. And then what do the Nuggets do? They always come out slow, and then in the second half, that's when they make their push. They came back and covered their game. I remember that game as well. That game was tied late in the fourth quarter, and really the only reason why the Nuggets, because there was somewhat of a fraudulent cover for the Nuggets there. It was, like I said, it was tied late with like 2 minutes or like a minute and 37 seconds to go, and then obviously the Nuggets made a shot, and the Kings went and missed it. And so after a couple misses, you got a foul, and so they just having to keep one late foul is what got the Nuggets that late cover there. That was pretty crazy. So technically, this is a revenge spot. The Nuggets have technically owned the Kings of late. They've won the past 5 meetings, and they've covered the past 8 out of 10 meetings as well versus the Kings. So the Nuggets have owned them as well, but especially with this being a revenge spot, and at the house. But the fact, I mean, it made me want to lean toward the Kings, but with them being the first game back over here, I mean, the Nuggets are absolutely rolling right now. You don't want to step in front of them. They've won 6 straight games and covered 5 of those 6 games. The only one cover was a little bit of a fraudulent non-cover for the Celtics there. They only won by 4, was favored by 5. So I look at it really, they, you know what I'm saying, 6-0 ATS, and they passed 6 games. I'm not stepping in front of the Nuggets here. They did show already they could beat the Kings. I mean, at least they still been out on the West Coast, but like I say, Kings been off a 4 game road trip. It's always a weird spot for a team coming back at the house. You know what I'm saying, after the little 4 game road trip, especially when it's on the opposite coast. Then they coming off 2 losses. They have covered the past 3. The Kings have. It's a little bit of a sleepy side. It makes me want to lean towards the first half under that. The first game went under. The first half got to about, I think, what, about 101 points or about 100 points. So I'm looking. I want to look at the first half under in this spot, man. We know the Nuggets always come out slow, and then we know that the Kings gonna come out a little sleepy first game back from their road trip. I'm not willing to step in front of Nuggets, man. If I had to do a side, it had to be the Nuggets once again, man. Especially with the Kings missing their players. They have been playing well, but if they shut down Buddy Hield, we know that the Nuggets are a defensive team. If they contain Buddy Hield, it's gonna be a long night for the Kings, man. But it is a home dog. I'm not a big fan of laying points on the road, especially in these weekend games where you see some creepy shit, man, on these weekends. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I mean, I know from experience. It seemed like the weekend is always the most vulnerable spot for my damn bankroll, and I hate it. I can't stand it, Junior. What you got? What you think? You think it's some up to that? The weekend, sure, especially like with road teams on the weekend. I think if anything, if weekend games favor the whole home team in theory.
Yeah, we talked about this the other
Yeah,
day.
we did.
I think it just depends on the amount of rest that they have in between. I just think that what we do, we're always trying to look at spots. We're always trying to figure out like an angle. I think that there is something to that, though. Like I said, to me, it just depends on how long has the team been at home. Like, for example, the fact that the first home game, sorry, after a long road trip is a letdown spot. That's people. We're not making that up. That's a thing. Like that happens all the time, because even if it doesn't even necessarily mean the home team isn't going to win, but it does mean that they probably are not going to cover or have a hard time covering. So you do have something there. These weekend games are definitely weird, because if they weren't, we wouldn't always talk about it every time I talk to you on Monday morning. So there's definitely something to it.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I'm leaning towards Denver in this spot, man. They are 5-1 on the road as well, but like I say, I always have to. It's always a comeback win, and I don't really like putting. I don't like putting my money on them.
I'm so glad you just said that, bro, because if you just look at it on paper, it should be a no-brainer that Denver is going to beat them by more than 4.5. But when you actually watch them play, I'm never convinced that they're going to cover until they cover, bro. Like, that's
Exactly,
every game. Like, I think that I like, for example, I say the opposite with Milwaukee. Milwaukee's always covering, and then it's kind of like, are they going to hold on for the cover lately, right? Because
yeah,
last year they were winning games by an average of like 9 a game. This year, that's a little bit down from last year, but they're still giving teams the business in the second and third quarter of like every game. They're whooping ass, and then they kind of just lose interest and then got to hold on. So, like I said, we're just always looking for spots, which is why you can't just assume anything with any team. That's why
exactly.
I'm staying away from the 4.5 here. I think it's just too many points against a Kings team that, like, bro, we pay attention to every game, obviously, and so do all of the people watching the show. When was the last time the Kings had like a really horrible game?
Right. Yeah. No, they've been in all of them, and they coming off 2 losses as well. I mean, they coming back to the house. We saw they 9-1 ATS in their passing game, so you definitely can't overlook them. We saw Portland come to the house the other day, and I thought they were gonna be a little weird versus OKC, and they would came
But
out
bro, not
rolling.
to interrupt you, do you remember the first 5, 6 games of the season? Yo, Sacramento was getting blown up by like
Yeah.
20 a game every game.
Yeah, they
right?
were still
So,
coming out. They were still coming out hot though in them first quarters and first half because I was
right.
riding them boys, and then it's just in the second half. Remember, we was talking about their coaching, but like I say, they've been balling of late, man. Like I say, this is one where, like Junior said, man, maybe a stay away, maybe in play game where you see possibly Sacramento coming out, and then we know that the Nuggets are always gonna make their run in the second half. So I mean, I'm just not a fan of betting on teams where I know they're gonna be down, but it could be a great in play spot. We might be able to get the way the Nuggets play. We might be able to get +10 with them boys in game. No bullshit. You'll see, man. Let's get to this next game. We got the Pacers and the 76ers, man. The 76ers opened at 5.5. It's down to 4 now, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna obviously it's a little back to back for them. Have you heard anything about some injuries, Junior? Is Embiid gonna sit in this spot? Is he gonna play? We know Horford coming back. Usually they do the little switcheroo there. We know they played in New York last night. Is Embiid gonna play? I hadn't heard anything about him sitting so far.
I haven't heard anything either, but I'll tell you what, this is another one of those things where if you want to talk about the weekend, it seems like it's way harder to get information about who's going to play and who's not on these weekend games. That's annoying as hell. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. You got any look on this game? Because I do.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at this game, man, I want to look toward the Pacers. They just went to overtime though.
See,
Huh?
no, I was gonna say, see, we're on the right, we're on the same team. It's one of my official plays. I got Pacers +4 right now.
Right, yeah, that's the only way I could look in this game, and you saw the way. So look, the 76ers struggled in that game last night. I mean, obviously, so Horford, he's rested, everybody else not. I mean, what is Embiid gonna do? Man, I'm not a big fan of him anyway right now. He could play. I think that's good anyway. If you look at the Pacers are 0-4 ATS in their last 4 Saturday games, so it may be something to that. I don't like the fact that they went into overtime last night. But I just like the way they've been playing recently more than the 76ers. Like I said, I mean, they should have lost. I feel like they should have lost their game versus the Knicks last night. They 0-3 ATS the last 3 games, man. I mean, they even the games where they get up versus the Kings, they can't put them away, only win that game by 60. And that was a spot where they supposed to come out pissed off and blow the shit out the Kings, and they couldn't do it. Like I say, had to expand a lot of energy to come back last night versus the Knicks. They were down 20 points in that game. Third game in 4 nights for them. I mean, this is a back to back for both teams, man. I want to lean towards this. I'm leaning towards the under in this spot, man. I'm thinking that both teams coming kind of off a little bad spot. Both teams third game in 4 nights. The Pacers coming off an overtime game as well, which still only got to 209 points with it going to overtime. So the Pacers, they know how to murk up a game. You know what I'm saying? Make it a defensive game. I think 76ers know how to make it that type of game too. I don't think they'll try to run and gun too much tonight, man. I'm liking the under in this spot, man. What you thinking? What's your look in this game?
So, sorry, you were cutting out. You said you like the under in the Pacers game.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the only way I could. I'm leaning towards the under in this spot, man. The under is 6-0 in the past 6 meetings. Was I cutting out there or what?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I just think the total is kind of low at 207.5. I'll tell you what, though, the reason why the under is not a bad look is if you look at the Pacers' defense during this streak where they've won, I think they've won like 9 out of the last 11 games. So if you, let me just read out their scores: 104, 102, 114, 106, 86, 102. Like they're not letting teams score points. They're playing really elite defense, which is why they're all the way up to 5th in the league in defensive rating. Because in the beginning of the season, after that 0-3 start, we weren't really sure what to make of them. Then they had a bunch of injuries. Now they seem like, first of all, something that our boy Jordan Sharp mentioned a couple days ago. They've had a lot of guys play meaningful minutes that probably wouldn't normally play. So now that they got all their best guys back, those guys got way more confidence because they've had minutes and they've had success. So now you're looking at a team that goes like 9 deep at least. That's a team that can be dangerous on any night. And just in my opinion, bro, we talk about the Sixers a lot. Both of us have put quite a few plays this season on the Sixers. Obviously, they're supposed to be one of the best teams in the NBA. There's no fucking way the Sixers playing like this right now are going to the NBA Finals. No way.
Right. Not for
There's
real.
no chance. And if you told me that they could lose to the Raptors again or even to the Bucks in the conference semifinals, or even the Celtics. Why couldn't, if they play like this,
Right.
they're not beating any one of those teams, bro, unless they
Yeah.
have home court.
And I'm not a fan
Um,
of their coach either, to be honest with you.
exactly. There's
I'm
just
not a fan
like
of their
I
coach. I
think
always
that they
think this
have
shit.
potential, but there's two things that's wrong with me for their team. First of all, they have no shooters. They have no shooters. Tobias Harris can make shots. Josh Richardson can make shots, but not shooters. They're just guys. Al Harrington, I'm pretty sure, has the most threes, or at least averages the most threes a game on that team. Um, that's one problem. So that messes up their spacing completely, because you got Ben Simmons, a non-shooter. He's gonna be in Embiid's way, and vice versa. If he wants to post up, then Embiid's camping out of the 3-point line. You don't want that if you're Philly. So their whole scheme right now to me doesn't really make any sense. And if the Indiana Pacers could keep this game at a relatively slow pace, because you know that Philly wants to run up and down, but the Pacers are like 24th in the league in pace. If the Pacers keep this game at a slow pace and make Philly have to run half court sets, they're not going to score a lot of points, bro. So I can see this game being like a 98-95 type game or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, me too, man. And you look at the 76ers, their last 5 games have went under. I mean, what? They allowed 95, it was 101 95 last night, 97 91 versus the Kings, which I know they played slow, but they, I mean, that was around the same total, 210, 209. That's why they had to set these Philly totals, because Philly really has a good defense. It's just they don't always show it. It's in certain games. This is a playoff. This is our two Eastern Conference teams, top of the East, pretty much, upper echelon Eastern Conference teams, potentially a playoff type matchup. Both teams in the third game in 4 nights. Man, I'm liking this game to go under. You know how these teams, how these games usually go. They going out, they start slow in the first half. It goes under, and then I like the full game to go under as well. It be a playoff type intensity game. These games are, the players are walking the ball up the court. They running plays using, you know what I'm saying, shot clock violations, all this shit. Defense intensity is at a high, man. I'm liking the under in this spot, man. Like I said, last 5 games from the 76ers have went under. The last 6 games in this meet in the series have went under between these two teams. Both third game in 4 nights, man, back to back, overtime for the Pacers. I just think that bodes well for neither team really wanting to get up and down the court, man. I mean, they couldn't even smash on the Knicks. They could barely put up 101 points versus the Knicks last night, man. Come on now. I just think that the Pacers are, I think, and like you saying, Junior, right now the Pacers are playing better defense, better offense. They're the better team overall right now. That's why you see that spread coming down from 5.5 to 4. I'm liking the Pacers in this game, and I'm liking that first half under and the full game under. Man, I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get a slow paced game in this spot, and I think it's gonna be a playoff caliber game, man. Let's get to this next one, Junior. This another. Hey, the two teams went to overtime last night. Both of their ass played tonight. Let's get to this Hawks and Rockets spot. Um, a game where I hadn't made a bet on yet. I was leaning towards the Rockets. A shitload of points for them. If they come out and play like they did against the Heat, which they did have revenge against them, then they could put up whatever number they want to. They could name the score in this spot. The Hawks is Trey Young and then everybody else. Like I said, you went for 49. When a player goes for 49, you still lose. You're a one man team. And, I mean, but we already knew that the Hawks they covered the past two versus the Bucks and the Pacers. Gave the Pacers all they could handle last night. Third game in 4 nights on the road though. Against the arrested Rockets squad. It's not really a, you know what I'm saying, somewhere you want to look. The Hawks have lost their past 9 games, man. What the 8 of 10 have went over. The past two went under, but before that, 8 straight overs. I just think that the Rockets will do whatever the hell they want to tonight, but we see teams kind of, you know what I'm saying, get complacent in these spots. And Rockets aren't a type of team that you want to lay 14 with, but I can't. Sometimes the points don't matter, and it seems like to be one in this spot. Just I hadn't got there yet with the Rockets. They have had 2 days off. They got, it look like they got what 2, 3 more days before they got San Antonio. They got a couple of tough games on deck, but like I say, if they want to, they could put up 140 against the Hawks, man, if they want. So we'll see. But the Hawks, I mean, the Rockets here land a hefty price here. I know what you're gonna say, Junior, that you ain't trying to mess with them with this 14 on the Rockets here.
Nah, actually, bro, I'm all over it. I'm all over it. I'm glad that you know me, though. You know me well enough to know that these numbers do not appeal to my senses. But I just look at the spot, bro, and this is a couple of things I'm looking at. First of all, I watched that Miami Houston game. I'm a huge Miami guy, as you know. Not to say that I'm a fan of their team. I'm just talking about the way that they play basketball right now. I've been betting on them a lot, cashing on them a lot. So if you win me money, I'm a fan. That being said, they smacked them boys up. I know that they only ended up winning by 9, but the game was not anywhere close to being a 9-point game until like the Rockets didn't give a shit anymore. The other thing is that Atlanta's lost 9 in a row, but not only have they lost 9 in a row, this is a back-to-back situation where they're flying from Indiana down to Texas. If you look at their schedule on Monday, they go back home. This is the third game of a 3-game road trip, and now they get to go back home and play the Golden State Warriors on Monday. If you're going to break your losing streak, is it going to be against the Houston Rockets on the road, or is it going to be against the Golden State Warriors at home on Monday? I'm willing to bet it's going to be against Golden State on Monday. So I'm not to say that the Hawks are looking ahead, but they're human beings, right? Their boy puts up 49 points, they still lose. We just know from watching this team, the energy that they play with at home is so different than the energy they play with on the road. You're not going to convince me that in a 3-game stretch where they play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, they're going to have a lot of energy on Saturday against a Houston team that's only played 2 times this week. They played on Sunday and they played on Wednesday. That's it. They haven't played any other games in between that time. So, they've been practicing, they're well rested. And if you look really closely since November started, Houston has really only lost to Denver, Clippers, and the Mavs in that 3-game stretch. Every other game, they've been pretty handily smacking teams around. I've been really hesitant to take them the whole season. The last couple of times I've taken them, I've cashed. I just think that they come in the situation. They can see what's going on with the Hawks. They can see that the Hawks have lost 9 in a row. They're on a long road, not a long road trip, but a 3-game road trip. No matter what, flying from Indiana last night to Houston tonight, that's not an easy trip. That seems like I'm going to assume that's a pretty long trip. Probably left pretty late. Probably ate some Texas barbecue for lunch today.
Might
They're going
stop
to be,
by they might stop by a strip club there in Houston.
hey,
Hey, Harden,
are you going to doubt that?
where your
And
girls
they're some
at? Where
Atlanta
them things
boys,
at?
right?
Yeah, hey, Harden.
They live in Atlanta.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they finna hit up Harden real quick. Hey, where them things? Hey, where them things at, man? I know y'all got it going down. I know you know where the best one there. You got a VIP. Hook a brother up real quick. Hey, y'all gonna let us win tomorrow? No, no, I'm messing with you, man. But yeah, this is a. I mean, hey, like you say, the only thing I don't like about landing points here with the Rockets is the Capella's doubtful in this spot. House is probably gonna sit as well. So they did get it done without them last game. Maybe look towards another under here, man. Obviously, with Tyson Chandler coming in there for Capella, he's still gonna get the defense, but a lot less offense, though. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot they still run the pick and roll sometimes with Chandler, but not near as much. He's nowhere near the pick and roll threat as Capella is. I mean, their totals getting up there to 235 and a half, 236. You saw these past 2 games, like the Hawks ran out of gas, man. I mean, they were running up and down the court. Shit, they went 8-9 straight overs, and then these last 2 games what 102 111, then you saw last night 104 105 with it going to overtime. There was going to be a 90 something game there before the overtime period. Both games flew under the total since they're a huge overstreak. Maybe it's coming, maybe they're under, you know what I'm saying, maybe those unders going to be undervalued here in the near future for the Hawks game. So that's just be something to look forward to. And like I say, the Rockets lately, they've been, you know what I'm saying, focusing on defense a whole lot more. This could be a sneaky under here. We'll see Saturday spot, man. The Hawks, I'm sure they're gonna run out of gas here in the second half. It'll be interesting to see for me how the Hawks come out in this first half, but in their second half, is coming off the overtime game. These are one of these spots where I already know that most likely I'll be on the Rockets here in the second half, seeing how they come out in the first half. Let's get to the last game. Junior, we got Charlotte, the Hornets versus the Bucks, man. Hey, we got another one laying a hefty price here. It looked like it opened at 14 and a half. It's down to 13 now. If you like in the Bucks, I can tell you I'm not taking the Hornets here. I can't say I'm not gonna lay the points with the Bucks. It's a back-to-back spot for them as well. It's different if it was a back-to-back and they would sit at the house. It's a back-to-back and they traveling from the Cavs from Cleveland over there. So it's one that I'm staying away from. It's the third game in 4 nights for the Hornets Hornets though, back to back swat. They just went and beat the Pistons last night. They have covered the past two games. They be a nice little home and home win. You rarely see that a team go win at the house and then you go to their house and beat them again. It's pretty tough there. But now they're in a pretty tough spot going to Milwaukee, who could easily blow the shit out of them here. I mean, what the Bucks have won their last 10 games, and boys just ball. I mean, it's not. I'm not stepping in front of them. The Bucks should come in here fucking ransack them, boy, get whatever the hell they want. Sit there third game in 4 nights as well. Only thing is, like Junior said, the Bucks hadn't covered their past 3 games and they were hefty prices. I mean, you played the Jazz, you was minus 7, minus 9, no, and they covered neither one. Those no matter where you got it early or late. You play the Hawks, only lost by 9. I mean, shit, maybe Bucks first half here. They always come to play in their first half, but their full game, shit. I mean, it's tough to lay the points here, even though I don't think the Hornets have a chance to stay within 20 in this motherfucker. What you got to say, Junior?
Yeah, so it's one of my official plays. I got Bucks -7.5. I say it every time I pick it. I mean, I picked the Bucks first half more than I think any other play that I made this season, just because they just consistently come out. Even when they play sluggish in the first quarter, then they usually come out in the second quarter and score like in the high 30s. They just really get it done at home. I can't possibly lay that many points on a full game with them, even though it's come down from 14.5 to 13. It's still too many points. They always do the same shit. They get up huge, then they kind of like lose interest, and then like they just don't cover the spread. So I'm not interested in that. I'm just going to follow the pattern that I've seen where they usually get up on teams. You already said something I was going to say. The Charlotte Hornets have played 3 games in 4 nights. I'm not buying these home and home wins. To me against the Pistons is just a case where the Pistons played worse than the Hornets, not that the Hornets were great. And if you look beyond those 2 games, when was the Hornets don't have a quality win other than when they beat the Sixers when they beat the Sixers, right? That's the only quality win. No, sorry, they didn't beat the Sixers. They beat the Pacers. I'm sorry, they beat the Pacers at home. That's the only quality win they have. On the road, they have a couple of wins. I guess you could kind of say earlier in the season when they beat Sacramento, but I already mentioned earlier, at that time, Sacramento was losing to everybody. So me, I'm the type of person that I just don't look at like wins and losses. I'm like, who did you beat? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm off of the Sixers right now, because I don't have the Sixers schedule in front of me. Go and find me a quality win that the Sixers have other than when they blew out Miami the other day. They don't have a quality win the entire season, bro. Again, not against a good team in a tough spot. So that's why I'm kind of off the Sixers right now. It's the same reason that I don't believe in what I'm seeing from Charlotte. And when I say that, they're 8-12, so it's not like they're a good team, but I predicted before the season that they would be the worst team in the NBA. Not sure that they'll be the worst, but they'll be among like the 3 worst. So all of that being said, the only reason I'm not laying that 14 with the Bucks is, number one, I'm already laying 14 with the Rockets. I'm not going to ever in life lay 14 points with 2 teams in the same night. And number 2 is just a pattern that I've seen from the Bucks where they just get bored in games, bro. They just really get bored, and I just don't like that. They always seem to be holding on. They don't cover. And I'm not going to go against the grain until I see them consistently put in that fourth quarter effort. But I will say one thing: now that they got all their guys back, you see Milton's been back now. They got DiVincenzo playing a little bit better. Bledsoe's been on an extended run of playing really well. I think that the Bucks are going to have a spell here pretty soon where they get back to last year. You remember last year there was like a couple weeks span where they were beating every team by like 15, 20 points,
Yeah, they
bro.
went on. They look like they going on another one of them runs.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen soon. I mean they've already just outright won games like straight up, but I think that
Right.
now they're gonna start really putting the hammer down on teams. And I think that, like you just mentioned before, I would not be surprised if they win this game by 20 plus points at all, to be honest.
Right, yeah, I'm gonna look at it. That first half is definitely a look. Some people was in the chat saying Washington, be the kid Washington on Hornets is legit. Yeah, I saw that too, Sean. Brooke Lopez was just listed out. But like Junior said, I mean, they got Middleton back. He's coming off the bench. That helps.
Can I
It
say
seems like
something, J Money? Not to interrupt you, bro.
go ahead.
I agree that Washington is legit offensively, but look at his defense. And I don't even just mean the numbers. The numbers are bad, but even just looking at him playing defense, you'll see tonight. Nobody can stop Giannis, but he's gonna get barbecued tonight. Because
Yeah,
I
they don't
mean,
have
bro, his
nobody.
defensive
Yeah, and
rating is
Giannis, yeah,
horrible.
I saw that he had a little injury back. They said that he is probable. Giannis gonna play. It's looking like everybody gonna play. Corver not on the injury report. Everybody's gonna play. It just looking like Brooke Lopez is gonna sit. I'm seeing it bounce around. It looks like it was bouncing around 14 and a half. Now back down to 14 for the Bucks. But I mean, hey, it's a lot of money on them boys. It's look like it's money on the under as well. It came down from 228 to 225, and it looked like it could be a day of unders, man. That Hawks and Rockets open at 237 and a half. It's down to 235 and a half. I see
Yo,
97.
Jay,
I
do
see
you watch a lot of
97%
college
of the money.
basketball?
Yeah, I watched college. I see 97% of the money on the under on that Hawks and Rockets game. It's like that's a sharp pick. Somebody piling some money on that under on both games. Really, 97% on the under in the Hawks and Rockets game, and then 98% of money on the under in the Hornets and Bucks game.
Hmm. It's funny because I'm just still stuck on the PJ Washington thing, bro, because it's one of the reasons why I picked the Bucks in the first half. They haven't played the Hornets yet this season. And I'm shocked that PJ Washington is as good as he is. I'm happy for him. You don't want anybody to not be successful, especially, he played at a big time program like Kentucky. So he's obviously a talented guy. But PJ Washington is a 6'7" power forward. And I think he just looks bigger than he actually is. But look at him standing next to Miles Bridges, who's a small forward. He ain't taller than Miles
Right.
Bridges. So
Yeah.
I
No,
just think that,
they both remind me of the same kind. To be honest with you, Miles
yeah,
Bridges has really underperformed. He was supposed to be bigger than what BJ Watson is in really his first year. Miles Bridges for Michigan State, man, they were talking about he could have been potentially like one of the like top picks or whatever, number one pick. So he really had. I feel like they were talking about him. He had really had high aspirations. PJ Washington, who only went for 1 year. I didn't think he did that much at Kentucky. I mean, he had some injuries. He was more of a down low player. You didn't see him shooting a ton of threes in college. That's why it surprised me a little bit when he came to the NBA and shot so many threes and made them at a high clip. But like you said, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say he was getting lucky. It's just I just think he's going to cool off it. So I mean, which he already has a lot. But he's nice. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe a lot of teams just been sleeping on. I think down the road, I don't know. I think he's going to taper off a little bit. I don't think he's that good of a player. I do think that some of these players should go to college, man, for their 4 years or at least three or something, man. These one and dones, they starting to kill me. I mean, if you LeBron James, all right, boom, you come out of high school or something. But some of these teams, I mean, you need to stay for at least 2 years, man. Your dad need to step in like something. I mean, like Cassius Winston, prime example. Stay there for. He could have came out last draft if he wanted to. He's staying there. It's all 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I respect players like that. When it comes to NBA, he'll be more NBA ready, man. I love to see shit like that. I just had to go on my little quick rant, man. That's really all I got for these games, man. But I just want to let y'all know it's a couple of sharp plays, man. Looks like them couple of unders, man, could be sharp, man. I told y'all it could be a couple of sneaky unders there, man. On weekends, you see some crazy shit. The Hawks, I mean, I know their stats the last five gonna say over, but them last two games been dreadful, man. You shut down Trey Young, it's gonna be a long night for them boys, man. Anything you got to say? You want to wrap up, Junior?
nah, man, it's a short card. So I actually probably not even going to watch these games until tomorrow morning. To be honest with you, it's Saturday night, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reason that I pay for League Pass, so I don't got to be
All right,
stuck
you
to
can
my
just record them,
TV
right? Yeah, you
from
just record it.
7 p.m. to midnight and 1 a.m. Get the hell out of here, bro. I'm just gonna
Right.
wake up on Sunday morning when there ain't shit on, watch these games and enjoy them. So hopefully, when I check my phone at 1 a.m., I've cashed in already, and that's that. Because none of these games really excite me, to be honest. Like there's not really any good games tonight, so. This is definitely a wake up early in the morning and watch the games after the fact type of night for me. What about you?
Exactly. I mean, I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch some of them, but I can't say lately, man. This college has been stealing my time, and I've been looking at college basketball a little bit more than the NBA, just because I mean I know how to look at the box scores, and you know what I'm saying. I can go back and look at them. This college games, this I mean sometimes that's where I'm finding most of my value, man. You see some lopsided shit in college. You'll see a team that's still laying points like they should be last year, and it's be a totally different team. And I'm like, bro, what they tripping on? You know what I'm saying? So hey, hey, it be some it's some college. I think that's where it's really where it's at right now, man, in college, because these teams. I mean, these lines makers, they got football, they got college football, you got NFL, college basketball, NBA basketball, all type of shit they got to go through, and they're not really on their shit in college basketball. Still, especially still right early in the season, they're not really there yet. So, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's college where it's at right now, man. We went through all these games. I think there's some sneaky unders out there on this Saturday, man. So you guys keep an eye on that on these weekend games, man. We're gonna try to get to some money. We broke down all the games for you guys. We're gonna try to cash these tickets. We'll holler at y'all again on Monday, man. We'll have a little day off tomorrow, man. Much needed. I'm about to chill out. You know what I'm saying? Go have some fun, and I hope y'all do the same, man. Y'all go and chill with your family. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, man. Let's milk them bookies, man. Leche, Alos bookmakers.